My wife said she wasn't moving to that small town for my job. I said I understood. Translation: see you never, Rebecca. That's how it started. Me loading a U-Haul at 3 in the morning while she slept off her third bottle of Pinot Grigio. I left the keys on the kitchen counter right next to her yoga mat and the cologne bottle that definitely wasn't mine. Daniel's cologne. Expensive stuff. The kind that screams, I drive a luxury SUV and cheat with other men's wives. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. 3 months later, I'm sitting in a rental house that smells like old wood and honest work, cracking open a beer after my shift at Morrison's Hardware. The house is nothing special. 2 bedrooms, creaky floors, a porch that leans slightly to the left. But it's mine. Well, rented. But mine in all the ways that matter. The town is called Millbrook, Maine. Population 3,847, according to the faded sign on Route 9. It's the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, where the diner serves breakfast all day, and where the biggest excitement is usually Mrs. Patterson's cat getting stuck in a tree. Again. I manage Morrison's Hardware now. It's a far cry from my old corporate job. Spreadsheets, meetings about meetings, PowerPoint presentations that could cure insomnia. Now I sell hammers and help old-timers find the right size screws. The pay is less, but I sleep better. Or I did, until Rebecca started texting. Can we talk? I miss you. Let's work it out, Brian, please. I ignored the first dozen. Then came the photos, her looking sad and beautiful in our old condo. Then the voice messages, her voice breaking just right, the way she practiced in front of mirrors. I was doing fine ignoring it all. Really, I was. The guys at McGill's bar had adopted me as their own. There was Pete, who'd been a mechanic for 40 years and could diagnose an engine problem by sound alone. There was Tommy, younger guy, worked at the lumber yard, always had a joke ready. And there was Sheriff Evans, who stopped by most evenings, not for police business, but because his wife made him eat healthy at home and he needed somewhere to enjoy his cigarettes. Your wife still texting? Pete asked one Thursday night, watching me check my phone for the 15th time. Like clockwork, I said. She's moved on to the guilt phase. How could you abandon me? We took vows. Real tearjerker stuff. What's she want? Tommy asked, signaling for another round. Me back, apparently. Funny how she discovered that after I left. Sheriff Evans blew smoke toward the ceiling. Women, he said, like that explained everything. Maybe it did. Then came the video. I was closing up the hardware store, counting the register, when my phone buzzed. A video message from Rebecca. I almost deleted it, but something made me click. It was an accident, clearly. She'd meant to send it to someone else. The video showed her and Daniel in what I recognized as our old bedroom. They weren't naked, but close enough. That wasn't what made my hands shake, though. It was the audio. He actually left, Rebecca was saying, laughing. Just packed up and moved to that nowhere town. Can you believe it? Daniel's voice, smooth and smug. Guy's pathetic. What kind of man runs away? A weak one, Rebecca said. I thought he'd fight for me. Instead, he's selling screwdrivers to hillbillies. More laughter. Then the video cut off. I sat there in the empty store, fluorescent lights humming overhead, holding my phone like it might explode. The rational part of my brain said to delete it, block her number, move on. The other part, the part that had been quietly building since I found Daniel's cologne, said something different. I locked up the store, got in my truck, and drove to the city. It took 3 hours. 3 hours of dark highway, gas station coffee, and my mind running through scenarios. By the time I reached the old neighborhood, it was past midnight. Daniel's SUV, a black Mercedes GLE because of course it was, sat in the visitor parking, 2 spots down from my old assigned space. I parked down the street and waited. At 2 a.m., Daniel emerged, adjusting his collar, checking his phone. He looked around, that guilty look cheaters get, and headed for his Mercedes. I had a key in my pocket. Just a regular house key, nothing special. But dragged along the length of a luxury SUV, it makes a hell of a sound. I carved a line from headlight to taillight, passenger side, then driver side. Then I took out my phone and photographed Daniel through his office window last week. I'd done some reconnaissance and left a printout under his windshield wiper with a note, "Enjoy your ride, asshole. More coming soon." I was almost back to my truck when I saw her. Nicole. Rebecca's best friend. High-powered realtor. Always dressed like she was closing $1 million deal. She was standing by the building entrance, watching me. Our eyes met across the parking lot. She smiled. Not a friendly smile, but something else. Something knowing and cold. Then she turned and went inside. I drove back to Millbrook with my heart hammering, adrenaline making my hands shake on the wheel. I'd crossed a line, but God, it felt good. The texts escalated. "What did you do to Daniel's car?" "You're insane! I'm calling the police!" But she didn't call the police. Neither did Daniel, because that would mean explaining why his car was parked at my wife's condo at 2 a.m. Instead, the texts shifted. Love bombing, the internet calls it. Suddenly, I was the love of her life again. We'd made mistakes, but we could fix this. Therapy, counseling, whatever I wanted. "I'll move to Millbrook," she wrote. "I'll make it work. I love you." I showed the texts to Pete at the bar. "She's full of it," he said. My ex pulled the same thing. Soon as I took her back, she was screwing the pool guy again. "I'm not taking her back," I said. "Good, but watch yourself. Woman scorned and all that." He was right to warn me. 2 weeks after the car incident, Nicole called. Not Rebecca. Nicole. "Brian, we need to talk," she said, her voice professional and cold. "About Rebecca, about your marriage, about the vandalism." "I don't know what you're talking about. Please, I saw you, but I'm not calling to threaten you. I'm calling because Rebecca is my friend and she's hurting. Can we meet? Just coffee. Let's work this out like adults." Every instinct screamed trap, but I was curious. "When?" "I'm driving up to Millbrook tomorrow. There's a diner, right? Main Street?" "Yeah, Molly's Diner." "Noon?" I agreed, then immediately regretted it. The next day, I told Pete and Tommy about the meeting. They insisted on being there, sitting at the counter within earshot. "Just in case," Pete said. Nicole arrived exactly at noon, dressed in a designer pantsuit that cost more than my monthly rent. She looked around the diner with barely concealed distaste. The vinyl booths, the laminated menus, the smell of coffee and bacon grease. "Brian," she said, sliding into the booth across from me. "Thank you for meeting me." "Let's skip the pleasantries," I said. "What do you want?" She folded her hands on the table. "Rebecca is devastated. She made mistakes, yes, but she loves you. This separation is killing her. She's sleeping with Daniel. That's over, completely over. It was a mistake, a moment of weakness. She wants to fix things." I leaned back, studying her. "Why are you here, Nicole? Really?" "Because I care about my friend." "Bullshit. You saw me vandalize Daniel's car and didn't report it. Why?" Something flickered in her eyes. "Because I understand anger. I understand feeling betrayed. But there are better ways to handle this. Legal ways. Mature ways." "Like what?" "An amicable divorce. Fair division of assets. No drama, no police reports, no criminal charges." There it was, the threat wrapped in velvet. I'd brought my phone, set to record audio in my pocket. "So you're saying if I don't agree to your terms, you'll report the vandalism?" "I'm saying we should all move forward peacefully." "And Daniel? What's his role in this peace treaty?" Her expression tightened. "Daniel is irrelevant." "Is he? Because from where I'm sitting, you seem awfully invested in protecting him." "I'm protecting Rebecca." "Right." I leaned forward. "Tell me something, Nicole. How long have you known about the affair?" She hesitated. Just for a second, but I caught it. I found out recently, she said. Liar. You knew from the beginning. You probably encouraged it. Her face went cold. You're delusional. Am I? Or are you more involved than you're letting on? She stood abruptly. This was a mistake. I tried to help, but you're clearly unstable. Don't contact Rebecca again. And Brian, stay away from Daniel's property. Next time, I will call the police. She left, her heels clicking on the diner floor. Pete came over, sliding into the booth she'd vacated. That woman is trouble. Yeah, I said, stopping the recording on my phone. But she just made a mistake. Over the next week, I did some digging. Millbrook might be small, but the internet is vast. I learned that Daniel worked for a commercial real estate firm. I learned that Nicole had briefly lost her realtor's license 5 years ago. Something about undisclosed conflicts of interest. I learned that Daniel had a wife, Karen, who posted happy family photos on social media while her husband screwed around. I also learned, through a combination of bar gossip and social media stalking, that Daniel had a side business. Nothing illegal but embarrassing. He sold business coaching courses online, promising 6-figure incomes, charging desperate people thousands for generic advice. His website was full of stock photos and testimonials that looked fake as hell. Tommy, who was better with computers than he looked, helped me archive everything. Screenshots, videos, testimonials from angry customers. What are you planning? He asked. Justice, I said. Small town style. The next move was risky. I drove back to the city, this time during the day. I'd made flyers, simple, professional looking, with Daniel's photo and a headline. Ask Daniel Mitchell about his special deliveries to 4047 Riverside Drive, Unit 12B. That was Rebecca's address. I posted them in his office building, on telephone poles nearby, in coffee shops. 50 flyers, strategically placed. I was putting up the last one when security grabbed me. Sir, you need to come with us. They took me to a small office, called the police. 20 minutes later, Sheriff Evans walked in. He looked at me, looked at the flyers, looked at the security guard. I'll handle this, he said. In his patrol car, he didn't start the engine, just sat there reading one of the flyers. You're that guy, he said finally. The one who moved here from the city. Wife cheated. Yeah. And this Daniel is the other man? Yeah. He folded the flyer carefully. You know I should arrest you. Harassment, maybe criminal mischief. I know. But I'm not going to. I looked at him, surprised. He smiled slightly. You know why? Because my wife cheated on me. 20 years ago. I stayed with her, worked it out, but I never forgot. And if I'd had the balls to do what you're doing? He shrugged. Well, I didn't, so I'm giving you a pass. One pass. But Brian, don't make me regret it. He drove me back to my truck, told me to go home. I did, but not before stopping at a print shop and ordering 500 more flyers. Rebecca's social media posts started getting nasty. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them. My ex is harassing me and my friends. Stay safe out there, ladies. She didn't name me, but she didn't have to. Her friends flooded the comments with support, calling me everything from toxic to abusive. Nicole commented too. You deserve better. Praying for you. I showed Pete and Tommy at the bar. She's trying to turn this around, Tommy said. Make you the bad guy. Let her, I said. I'm just getting started. The flyers worked. Daniel's office was buzzing with gossip. I knew because one of his co-workers, a guy named Jeff, who'd bought business coaching from Daniel and felt scammed, reached out through Facebook. Dude, everyone's talking about your flyers. Daniel's freaking out. His boss called him in. This is hilarious. What happened? I asked. They suspended him. Pending investigation. Apparently someone sent them screenshots of his coaching scam too. Was that you? Maybe. Legend. But I wasn't done. I created a simple website. Nothing fancy, just a page titled The Truth About Daniel Mitchell. I posted screenshots of his fake testimonials, complaints from ripped-off customers, and yes, evidence of his affair with Rebecca. Photos I'd taken, time-stamped, her car at his place, him leaving her condo. I didn't mention Rebecca by name, didn't have to. Anyone who knew Daniel would figure it out. I shared the link anonymously on local forums, community boards, and review sites. Within 48 hours, it had 5,000 views. Daniel called me. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail, his voice shaking with rage. "You're done, you hear me? I'm getting a restraining order. I'm suing you for defamation. You're going to regret this." I saved the voicemail. Rebecca called next, crying. "Why are you doing this? I made a mistake, but this is cruel. You're destroying people's lives." "Funny," I said. "That's what you did to me." "I loved you." Past tense, noted. "Brian, please, Daniel's wife found out. She's filing for divorce. He lost his job. Isn't that enough?" "No," I said, and hung up. But the real surprise came 3 days later. I was at Morrison's Hardware helping a customer find deck stain when Nicole walked in. She looked different, less polished. Her makeup was smudged, her hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. "We need to talk," she said. "Now." I told my boss I was taking a break and led Nicole to the parking lot. "You've gone too far," she said. "Daniel's life is ruined. Rebecca is having panic attacks. This needs to stop." "Or what?" "Or I go to the police. I have evidence of your vandalism, your harassment." "Do it," I said, "but I'll make sure they know you've been covering for Daniel, that you knew about the affair from the start, that you—" "I set it up!" she screamed. The parking lot went quiet. A couple walking by stared. "What?" I said softly. She was breathing hard, tears streaming down her face. "I set it up. The affair. I introduced them. I encouraged it. Because I wanted to hurt you." My mind went blank. "Why?" "5 years ago you reported me. That real estate deal, the conflict of interest. You cost me my license, my career, everything. I had to rebuild from nothing." I remembered, vaguely, a sketchy deal Rebecca had asked me to review. I'd noticed irregularities and reported them. I'd forgotten Nicole was involved. "So you destroyed my marriage? As revenge?" "Yes," she whispered. "And I don't regret it. You deserved it." I pulled out my phone, showed her the recording app still running in my pocket. Her face went white. "You recorded me? Every conversation since you came to Millbrook, including this one." She lunged for my phone. I stepped back, and she stumbled, falling to her knees on the asphalt. "You bastard," she sobbed. "Yeah," I said. "I am. And Nicole? I'm not done yet." I left her there, crying in the parking lot of a hardware store in a town she'd never see again. That night, I planned the finale. I sent 3 messages to Daniel. "Meet me at the old train depot on Route 9, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Come alone, or everyone sees the rest." To Rebecca. "Final conversation. Train depot, Route 9, 7 p.m. tomorrow. Just us." To Nicole. "You want this to end? Train depot, Route 9, 7 p.m. tomorrow. Bring the truth." I didn't expect all 3 to show, but I prepared like they would. The train depot had been abandoned for 20 years. Graffiti covered the walls, windows were smashed, and the platform was cracked and overgrown. It was perfect. I arrived at 6, an hour early. I'd borrowed equipment from Tommy, a portable speaker system, a laptop, a small projector. I set up in the main waiting room, running extension cords from my truck's generator. At 6:45, I tested the system. My voice echoed through the empty building, out onto the platform, across the overgrown tracks. Perfect. Daniel arrived first, driving a rental car. His Mercedes was still in the shop, apparently. He looked terrible, unshaven, rumpled suit, eyes red and wild. "Where are you?" he shouted into the depot. "Inside," I called back. He came in cautiously, like he expected an ambush. "What do you want?" he demanded. "Money? I'll pay you to take down that website." "I don't want your money." Rebecca arrived next, parking beside Daniel's rental. She saw his car and hesitated, then came inside anyway. "Brian?" she called. "Daniel? What's going on?" "Welcome," I said from the shadows. "Take a seat." They found me in the waiting room, standing behind my makeshift tech setup. "What is this?" Rebecca asked. "The truth," I said. Nicole was last. She came in silently, saw the others, and stopped. "You brought everyone," she said to me. "Yeah, seemed fair." Daniel stepped forward. "Listen, we can work this out. Whatever you want." I pressed play on the laptop. Nicole's voice filled the depot. "I set it up, the affair. I introduced them. I encouraged it, because I wanted to hurt you." Rebecca's face went pale. "Nicole? What is she talking about?" I played more, Nicole admitting everything, her revenge plot, her manipulation. "You knew?" Rebecca said, turning to Nicole. "You set this up?" "Rebecca, I can explain. You were my friend." Daniel looked between them, confused. "Wait, you orchestrated this?" "To hurt him," Nicole pointed at me. "He deserved it." "So you used me?" Rebecca's voice was rising. "You used my marriage, my life, as some kind of revenge plot?" "You were already unhappy. I just gave you a push." I let them argue, their voices echoing off the broken walls. Then I pressed another button. The projector lit up, displaying the website I'd created. Every screenshot, every photo, every piece of evidence. "This goes live tomorrow," I said. "Full names, full story. Nicole's manipulation, Daniel's scams, Rebecca's affair, all of it, public and permanent." "You can't," Daniel said. "I can, unless." "Unless what?" Rebecca asked. "Unless you do exactly what I say." They stared at me. "Daniel, you're going to shut down your coaching business. Refund everyone you scammed, every penny." "That's impossible. Do it, or I send this to every business journal in the state." He swallowed hard. "Fine. Nicole, you're going to confess. To Rebecca, to Daniel's wife, to everyone, the whole truth." "I'll lose everything," she whispered. "You should have thought of that 5 years ago." "And me?" Rebecca asked quietly. I looked at her. The woman I'd loved. The woman who'd laughed at me on that video. "You're going to sign divorce papers. No alimony, no claims on my pension, nothing. Clean break." "That's not fair." "Fair?" I laughed. "You want to talk about fair?" She looked down. "Okay. One more thing," I said. "Tomorrow night there's a town meeting. Millbrook Community Center. You're all going to attend." "Why?" Daniel asked. "You'll see." The next evening I stood on the stage of Millbrook Community Center. The room was packed. Seemed like half the town had shown up. Pete and Tommy sat in the front row, grinning. Rebecca, Daniel, and Nicole sat in the back, as instructed. "Thanks for coming," I said into the microphone. "I know this is unusual, but I wanted to share something with you all." I played the recordings. All of them. Nicole's confession, Daniel's threats, Rebecca's manipulations. Then I played the original video, Rebecca and Daniel mocking me, calling me pathetic. The room was silent. "These 3 people," I said, pointing to the back, "thought they could destroy me, thought I'd just take it. But here's what they didn't understand about small towns." I looked around at the faces, Pete, Tommy, Sheriff Evans, Mrs. Patterson, all the regulars from McGill's bar. "In small towns, we take care of our own." The applause started slowly, then built. People stood. Someone whistled. Rebecca was crying. Daniel looked like he wanted to disappear. Nicole just stared at the floor. "That's all," I said. "Thanks for listening." As people filed out, many stopped to shake my hand, pat my shoulder. Sheriff Evans gave me a nod. Rebecca tried to approach, but Pete stepped between us. "Time to go, ma'am," he said, not unkindly. She left, followed by Daniel and Nicole. I never saw any of them again. The divorce papers came through 6 weeks later. Rebecca signed everything, no contest. Daniel's business shut down, refunds processed. Nicole's confession went viral online, Someone recorded it and posted it. Her realtor career was finished. Daniel's wife, Karen, sent me a thank you card. "You gave me the courage to leave," she wrote. "Thank you for the truth." I framed it, hung it in my house. The town treated me like a hero. Free drinks at McGill's, discounts at the diner. Mrs. Patterson even baked me a pie. "You showed those city folk," she said. "Good for you." 3 months after the town meeting, Millbrook held its annual fall festival. Main Street closed down, vendors set up booths, kids ran around with cotton candy. I was manning the hardware store's booth, selling discounted tools, chatting with customers, when I saw Sheriff Evans approaching. "Got a minute?" he asked. We walked to the edge of the festival, away from the crowd. "I wanted to tell you something," he said. "That night at the depot, I was there." "What?" "Parked down the road. Tommy called me, said you might need backup. I listened to the whole thing on a police scanner frequency you didn't know you were broadcasting on." I felt cold. "Are you arresting me?" He laughed. "Hell no, I'm thanking you. What you did, the recordings, the public exposure, that's not illegal. Morally questionable, maybe, but not illegal. You didn't threaten anyone, didn't touch anyone, didn't destroy anything that wasn't yours. Daniel's car. Can't prove that was you. No witnesses, no cameras. Besides, he never filed a report." I exhaled, relieved. "But Brian?" Evans said seriously. "You got lucky. This could have gone very differently. So I'm telling you as a friend, you got your revenge. Now let it go." "I already have," I said. And I had. That night, after the festival ended and the town cleaned up, I sat on my crooked porch with a beer. The stars were bright, no city lights to drown them out. The air smelled like autumn and wood smoke. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "You destroyed my life. I hope you're happy." "Nicole." I typed back, "I am. Thanks for asking." Then I blocked the number. Pete and Tommy showed up an hour later with a case of beer and a deck of cards. "Poker night," Tommy announced. "You're not getting out of it." We played until midnight, laughing and talking trash. At some point, Sheriff Evans stopped by, joining the game. "You know," Pete said, dealing a hand, "I've lived here my whole life. Never seen anything like what you pulled off." "It was something," Evans agreed. "What was it exactly?" Tommy asked me. "Revenge? Justice?" I looked at my cards, a pair of 8s, nothing special. It was setting things right. They thought they could use me, throw me away and face no consequences. I just showed them they were wrong. "In the most public way possible," Evans added, grinning. "Small towns," I said. "Everyone sees everything eventually." We played another hand. I won with a straight, raking in the pot of quarters and dollar bills. "You're lucky," Tommy said. "Nah," I replied. "I'm just patient, and I pay attention." The game went on. Outside, Millbrook slept, peaceful and quiet. Somewhere out there, Rebecca and Daniel and Nicole were dealing with their consequences. But here, in this crooked house in this small town, I was exactly where I wanted to be. They'd called me pathetic, weak, a man who ran away. But I hadn't run. I'd escaped. And then I'd won. Not through violence or crime, through truth, through patience, through the simple act of showing people exactly who they were. The best revenge, they say, is living well. But I'd found something better. Living well and making sure everyone knows why. As the night wore on and my friends laughed and the cards kept coming, I realized something. I'd started this journey angry and hurt, wanting to punish the people who'd wronged me. But I'd ended it surrounded by real friends, in a real home, living a real life. Rebecca had her city and her yoga studio and her empty condo. Daniel had his ruined reputation and his divorce. Nicole had her confession and her shame. And I had Millbrook. I'd take that trade any day. The game broke up around 2 in the morning. Pete and Tommy stumbled home. Evans drove carefully despite only having 2 beers, and I was left alone on my porch. I pulled out my phone one last time, scrolling through old photos. There was one of Rebecca and me, years ago, smiling at some restaurant. We looked happy. I deleted it. Then I deleted all of them. Every photo, every memory, every trace. Starting fresh. The next morning, I woke to my alarm, got ready for work, and drove to Morrison's Hardware. It was just another day in Millbrook, just another day of selling hammers and helping customers and being part of something real. At lunch, I stopped by Molly's diner. The waitress, Sarah, a single mom who always had a kind word, brought me coffee without asking. "You doing okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said, and meant it. "I really am." She smiled and walked away. I sipped my coffee, looking out the window at Main Street, at the people walking by, living their lives, at the town that had taken me in and stood by me. They'd tried to break me, Rebecca, Daniel, Nicole. They'd tried to make me the villain in their story. But I'd written my own ending instead, and it was perfect.